Good morning everyone, Jordan here from Artisan Electrics. Welcome wherever you're from, whatever time it is. Thank you for joining us, and today I am doing something very exciting because I'm swapping this for this. This is my Tesla Model 3 and today it's Take Your Tesla to Work Day. Basically I've got an electric vehicle charging installation job that I'm doing today over in Coventry. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours drive depending on the traffic. And I thought, hey, why, rather than burn a load of fossil fuels by taking my van, it's not a big job, I don't need that much tools, so why not take the Tesla? So, I've got all my tools over, I'm ready to set off. Let me just show you what how I've got it set up. So in the front here, obviously it just looks like a normal Tesla Model 3, but look in the back and I've folded the seats forward. I've dust sheeted it all to protect it, and I've got all my tools in the back there. So I'll open the boot and I'll show you what's what. So here we go. It's actually very spacious. So I've managed to fit all the stuff I need. I've got a deep tool bag here which drops into this kind of hatch that is quite deep in the back of the boot here. So most of my tools are actually in there. I've got my bits and pieces for fixings, conduit, etc. And the real test was, can you fit a 3 meter length of black PVC conduit in, which I have done, which is fantastic. I've got an earth rod pit because I've got to sort out a horrible messy earth rod installation basically today. The earth rod itself is just tucked across there. And basically this is the charger that I'm installing today. It's an EO mini charger, 7 kilowatt, just a simple sort of dumb charger. My customer's got a lovely Tesla Model S that he's going to be charging up on it, and he's got all the smart functionality in the Tesla, so he doesn't really need a smart charger. He's not claiming the grant or anything because he's already claimed it before, so should be a fairly straightforward little install really. I'm going to jump in, get set off, and let you know how I get on. Right, so here we are ready to go. I've put the address in. It's 88 miles away where I'm going, so it's estimating it's going to take me an hour and 40 minutes. So it's 7:20 now, and I did say to the customer I should be with them about 9 o'clock. So that sounds perfect. And interestingly, in terms of battery, last night I charged it fully. So usually I only charge it to sort of 70%. But I charged it to 100%, so 306 miles of range on the clock this morning, and it says that I should be able to get there and back, and I still have 20% battery when I get back home. So we'll see how accurate that is. I do have free Supercharger miles thanks to some of my viewers who have signed up for a Tesla using my referral link. So I've got a couple of thousand free Supercharger miles which I can use if needed, and I've never used a Supercharger before, so I'm quite excited to actually use a Supercharger if needed anyway, but we'll see. I might be able to get there and back without having to charge up, which would be really cool. So I'm going to get set off, and it's a clear route straight up the A14. It's like just motorway route all the way basically, so it should be quite a nice easy drive. Going to get the music on and put it on autopilot and see how we get on. So we're off, and this car, I just love it. It's so fast, it's ridiculous. Even with a load of tools in the back, it's just absolutely lightning. 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. The torque is unbelievable, and it's just an absolute dream to drive really. So that's why I take every opportunity I can to drive it, even for work. I mean, this is a work car, this is a company car, and I use it to drive to my electric vehicle charging quotations. I've got a lot of people contacting me, asking me to install their EV chargers for them, either for their home or their workplace. And so it's great to actually turn up in an EV. You can show people that you really mean business. And you're not just, trying to sell them a charger but not having any idea how it works or anything. So I try to charge all the product. I try to try all the products that I actually install. So as you know, I've got a Zappy at home, but I'm going to swap it out for a Tesla charger soon, just as a bit of a test, because some people seem to think that the Tesla charger is actually better than the Zappi. Well, not necessarily the Zappi, but just better in general if you've got a Tesla. And my opinion is that actually it's a rubbish charger, the Tesla charger, and there's not really any additional benefits of having the Tesla charger over another smart charger. But I want to prove that to myself by actually just trying the Tesla charger for a few weeks at home and seeing if there are any actual advantages to having it. The only advantage that I can see with it is that you press the button on the cable, on the plug, and it actually opens the charging port, so that saves you from getting your mobile phone out of your pocket and having to press the button to open the charging port. But apart from that, it's like, as far as I can see, there are no advantages to having a Tesla charger, and they require a Type B RCD, an earth electrode, or a MATI device, pen fault detection device. So they're a lot more expensive and hassle to install, really. I have to be really conscious of driving carefully because I'm so used to just putting my foot down all the time on this thing and just using the power, because I don't usually do long distances. But I really need to be conscious about trying to preserve the battery a little bit here, because obviously it's no different to a internal combustion engine vehicle in that the harder that you put your foot down, the more fuel it burns. It's just that the fuel happens to be electricity rather than petrol or diesel. So if you do thrash it around, the battery life does go down a lot quicker. In fact, I think what I'll do is change it from sport mode to chill mode. Yeah, there we go. I've put it on chill mode now, so that sort of reduces my possibility of accelerating like a madman, and will just preserve my battery, hopefully. And with the regenerative braking as well on max, that does help. So we're on the motorway now, and for me this is where Tesla really comes into their own, because Autopilot on motorways is just amazing. I mean, it's just like you can almost take your brain out and you could go to sleep basically. I mean, I've not got the full self-driving package, so, and I don't know if even if it does it yet in the UK, but if you've got the full self-driving package, you can actually it does auto lane changes and stuff. So you just set your speed and it will just literally weave in and out of the traffic and until you get to your off ramp of the motorway, and then you take over basically. And it just works so well. It's really, really clever. I mean, it's scarily clever, really. The technology is just amazing. When you first put it on, it's really scary because you just don't know whether you can trust it. But you start to get confident in it. I guess it's a bit like just being in the passenger seat when somebody else is driving and you don't really know whether they're a good driver or not. It's a little bit like that. But after a while, you just get into the swing of it, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So obviously, legally you have to keep your hands on the wheel, and it will start flashing blue at you to say put your hands on the wheel if you take your hands off for long enough. So you have to just put a little bit of turning pressure on the wheel to keep it, otherwise it will disactivate and then it will just pull you over basically, and you'll have to restart the car if you want to be able to get autopilot on again. But I absolutely love it because it just makes driving so relaxing when you are doing a long trip like this. You can just let the car do the work for you. You don't have to have your feet on any pedals at all. If the car in front of you slows down, you slow down. If the car in front of you speeds up, you speed up to your maximum speed that you've set. So you can just set it to the normal motorway speed limit and then just cruise basically, and it just keeps you in the middle of your lane at all times. Yeah, absolutely magic, really. Absolutely amazing. It's funny as well because Teslas are like, if you've got a Tesla, it's like you're in a little secret club and like we all wave to each other. So if you see another Tesla going past, more often than not you look over, they'll wave at you, which is quite cool. It's just like a little secret club. I'm not in the Tesla owners club yet, but I would actually like to be in that as well, because they do have quite a good little team spirit going on there. But I think there's probably like a massive waiting list to get into the Tesla Owners Club. There is a Tesla Model S just in front of me, actually, cruising away. And for anyone who's got, like, who does long drives on the motorway, or anyone who, for example, drives a lot in London where there's a congestion charge, is just an absolute no-brainer, really, because there's no congestion charge for electric vehicles. If it's a company car, there's 0% benefit in kind tax, which means that whereas usually you would pay tax on the benefit that you get from having a company car. So say your company car costs you 500 quid a month and you're on 20% tax, you will pay 100 quid a month in tax on that. But there's 0% benefit in kind tax on electric vehicles. So that means that you don't pay any tax on this car as well, which makes it a lot more affordable. Actually, still does weird, quirky things, like for some reason it suddenly thinks that the speed limit here is 35 miles per hour. So I'm cruising along at 70, and then suddenly it's gone, slow down, and it's gone down to, it wants me to do 35, which is a bit worrying because it suddenly slows down and the car behind's going, what the heck's going on? So yeah, it's not perfect yet. I think probably there's an issue with maps on that little stretch of the motorway. Maybe it's because this is a new piece of road, it's the new A14. So it's kind of not quite adapted yet. Yeah, it's doing it again for some reason, that's really annoying. So I'm going to have to disengage Autopilot and just monitor my own speed for a while. If you're a Tesla owner, let me know in the comments what other little quirks annoy you, because there are a few little things that annoy me, like the indicators. If you indicate to turn left or something, you turn left, the indicator doesn't turn off. Not always anyway, sometimes it does, but a lot of the time it doesn't, which is really annoying. So you have to manually turn it off. I don't really know why that is. I mean, first world problems, but it's just kind of, it would be nice if it did turn itself off. So back in Autopilot now, and we'll see if it stays at the speed that it should do, or if it has a little wobble again. So I've arrived, and that was the smoothest hour-and-a-half journey that I've ever done. Brilliant. Autopilot all the way up on the A14. It was absolutely fantastic. So relaxing to drive this thing. It's brilliant. So I'm here now. This is the garage where the charging point's going, so I'll show you that in a minute. And my customer's lovely Model S over there. He's just arrived back from his night shift because he's a hospital worker. So we've got two Teslas on his driveway for the first time, which is quite nice. So in here, basically, we've got lovely garage. It's all new. This is a new house. And we've got this box here already with a supply for an electric vehicle charger. So that's been put in by the builder's electrician or whatever when they first built the garage. That is a separate supply to this, which is the garage consumer unit, which has just got two circuits, one for the sockets and one for the lights. They've put an earth electrode in for the charging point supply, but the garage supply is just fed from the earth in the house. So I'm presuming that it's a TNCS system, which means that we can't have the two earthing systems simultaneously contactable. In other words, you shouldn't be able to touch the metal consumer unit, which is earthed from the house, at the same time as touching the car, which is earthed from the earth electrode. So what I'm going to do, the earth electrode's been done badly anyway. I'm going to redo the earth electrode, probably redo this cable, and then earth both the garage and the charging point off of the TT earth electrode. This looks like a fairly hefty cable, which is good. Looks like probably a 10mm 3-core or something, but I'll check that in a minute. And the earth electrode, if we go around here, I'll just show you what we've got here. So this is the current earth electrode setup. You can see obviously the two cables coming in, one for the garage and one for the charger. And the earth electrode has literally just been bashed into the ground. It's just left sticking out of the ground here, You know, it's going to get corroded if it's like that, so it's not ideal. So what I'm going to do is dig in a proper pit, like an inspection pit, probably put a new earth electrode in, redo the cable and just make it all proper, and then connect the two together, disconnect the earths from the house and just have everything in the garage earth from the earth electrode system. So this is just a close-up of the earth electrode as it is. I mean, it's just typical, don't know whether it's a builder electrician who's done this or just you know, an electrician who didn't really know what he was doing, but it's quite loose and it's just banged in right next to the house. Yeah, you see, you can just twist that. It's not great. The cable's already started to rust a bit and started to corrode, so I've got a brand new earth rod that I can put in there. I'm going to do a test reading on it as well, because I'm not sure what the resistance is of the ground, so we need to make sure that we've got a good low reading for this in order for it to be safe. And I'll probably put this in conduit going on the outside, just so that that's a little bit neater as well. So this is the house consumer unit, and as you can see, it's a new build. It's just been done in 2019, and we've got a circuit already installed here for the vehicle charger. It's on a C40 30 milliamp RCBO, and it's a 10mm cable. I've just checked. It's nice they've put a little circuit schedule in here, so we've got details of exactly what's what. I'm not sure how they've run the cable from here, if they've terminated the armour directly into the house consumer unit or if they've run it from an external box, so I'll have to check that, because we're going to need to separate the two earthing systems, so it'll be interesting to see how we manage to do that. But nice Hager consumer unit with an SPD for a new house, very nice to see. Right, so here we are. I've got all my tools out of the car and ready to go. So I'm going to just start by taking the cover off this box, see what the connections are like in there. Hopefully they've not made too much of a pig's ear of it. Right, so we've got our 10mm earth here for the earth electrode, and then we've got our 10mm 3-core steel armoured. Fairly straightforward, so I should be able to literally just take this box off and just mount the EO straight on there. The only thing I will need to do is do a loop between these two and disconnect the main earth coming in from this consumer unit as well. So I'm going to have a look inside here as well and see what the situation is. So it looks like just a 2.5 coming in here. Yeah, nothing special really. So we can just put a gland here and put disconnect the incoming earth from the house and put a loop between these two so that this is earthed properly. I might have to put a main earthing terminal in here or something, or what I might do is that's probably what I'll do actually, is I'll take this earth electrode into the consumer unit and then I'll loop out from here into the charging point. That way we've only got one cable in the charging point for the earth, because there is only one earth terminal within the charging point. Right, so first things first, what I'm going to do is just do a test on this earth electrode that's in already, just to get an idea of what the resistance of the ground is, because that will tell me whether I need to actually reuse the existing earth rod and bang an extra one in, or whether I can get away with just using the one that's in there already. Okay, so we've got 33 ohms, so that's a good earth electrode reading. So what I'm going to do is just dig this pit in, and then I'll probably, if I angle it like that, I'll take the earth cable out in the corner, run it up a similar route, but I'll just put it in a bit of conduit so it's a bit neater and it's protected from the UV rays of the sun as well, because you can see this green-yellow's already started to fade because the UV from the sun and the PVC don't go well together. I'll probably pull this old one out because it's not really going to serve any purpose anymore, and then I'll use my rod hammering kit to just hammer this down into the ground. I might even try, I've got this new thing from LINIAN that they made a special device for drilling these down into the ground, so I might actually try and use that and see how that goes. Put a clamp on it, new earth cable in, and then mount the charger on the other side. Let's get digging. Right, so I'm going to try out this from LINIAN today. They sent me this to give it a go, and basically this screws onto the pointy end of the earth electrode. This screws onto the flat end, and it's got an SDS chuck, so you just put it in your SDS drill, and then you can basically just drill the earth rod down into the ground. So I think it's quite a nifty little idea. Going to give it a go and see how I get on. Usually what I do is I just use this, which is just for hammering. So you put the drill on hammer and then you just hammer it into the ground that way. But it does tend to scuff up the end of the earth rod a little bit and make it difficult to attach an additional earth rod later on if you want to. So I think this kit from LINIAN is quite a good idea. Right, well it's just about to start raining, but what I've managed to do is pull it out and then go in at an angle this way, and now I've got it in. Just in the nick of time. That is in, and I'm gonna get out of the way before I get soaked. So I think what was happening there with that earth rod was that it was hitting the foundations of this building. And just by going a little bit away from the building, I managed to get it away from the foundations and get it in. So that's a nice solid and deep earth rod there. Should give us a good reading. So what I'm going to do now, I've got to put a new 10mm earth through the wall there, run it up to this consumer unit in a bit of PVC conduit, then do a link from there to the charging point, take this box off the wall, and I've got this lovely little compact EO mini charger to install. Now I don't fit that many of the EO chargers, but when I do, it's because the customer has a requirement that they want something small and compact and discreet and smart looking, and this is basically the smallest charger on the market at the moment. It's just got a Type 2 socket in the front. This particular one is just the EO Mini, not the EO Mini Pro, so it's not smart. It doesn't qualify for the grant or anything, but it's just a simple plug your car in, charge it up. Bob's your uncle. Simple, jobby, reasonably priced, and very good quality. The EO chargers, I'm happy with them, so they are on my list of chargers to install, along with Zappi and Artisan. Those are the main three that I do really, because they cover all the bases. The Artisan is sort of for the luxury end of the market, where they want something that looks really nice and fits in with the decor of the external fascia of the house. The Zappi is sort of mid-range and just covers all the bases in terms of safety and reliability, so that's my go-to for most installations. And then this kind of covers the angle where they need something small and compact that you know, that is quite discreet. So EO is my other go-to brand. So I've got to drill a 20mm hole in the bottom here to take the armoured cable gland into, and then another 20mm hole just to loop the 10mm earth across between the two enclosures, so that we've got them both on the same earthing system. Right, so sorry about the background noise. This is a really annoying strimming guy nearby, so I don't know if you can hear me properly. But basically now everything's kind of connected up. The EO is mounted. Done a loop of 10mm between and connected that 10mm earth to this consumer unit, so these are both connected together. And then the main earth from the earth electrode is coming in there, up in the conduit and up, and it's going to go into the main earth terminal here as the main earthing conductor. Then this is the earthing conductor from the armoured cable. I'm actually going to connect that back in because what I've managed to do is separate the two earthing systems at the house. So I'll show you what I've done. There are actually two junction boxes. Two junction boxes here where it goes from twin and earth in the house to armoured, and so I've been able to just separate the earths here. So these cables will be earthed from the TT earth of the garage, and then the twin and earth cables will be earthed from the house, and they'll be separated at these junction boxes. What I've done is just label them up as well to say do not connect, so that whoever comes back in future and sees the earth wires disconnected doesn't get confused. And this box is broken. As you can see, it was already like that when I came. So I've got a whisker box. I'm just going to swap this over for a whisker box, and then that's good at least. I mean, this is a brand new house, brand new install, but it's been done really badly. Look, you can see like that hole in the back there. It's not sealed at all with silicone or anything. Box is broken. These are rubbish cheap and cheerful boxes anyway. Rubbish quality. So I'm going to put a good whisker box on there, and that should do the trick there. This earth electrode is in now, and I've just left the cover loose for the moment because in case I need to do some final adjustments before I liven everything up, but that's kind of ready to go. Just need to get rid of the excess soil, and then that'll just bed itself in over time, and the grass will grow back around it, and it will look fairly smart. Right, so we're getting there now. The EO Mini is up and livened up. Consumer unit is back live. Test results have come out okay. I've got about 50 ohms on the earth electrode, so that's fine. Still a little bit higher than the old one, but the old one had time to settle in and kind of get a little bit of corrosion going on it, which does help with the readings. I've just linked the earthing between the two here, and then I've also replaced that junction box that I was telling you about. So that is now much better, as you can see, rather than that horrible old broken one. So I'm just going to start tidying up and then get the car plugged in. So a few final checks which we always do. Obviously I should have done this at the start really anyway, but as it was a new build I thought I'll just do it at the end. Bonding checks, so guess what, I checked the gas bond and look at that. That is absolutely shocking. I mean, this cable is just slung in, just, you know, they've just punched a hole through the box here, but look at this. Call that a bonding connection? That's why we always check the main bonding when we're doing any alterations or additions, but particularly EV charging, it's very important. So I'm going to just re-terminate that, do it properly, and then yeah, I mean the whole clamp is a little bit loose as well actually, so I think I brought an earth clamp with me, so I might just replace that clamp while I'm at it as well. So I didn't have a new earth clamp, but I've just re-terminated that properly and tightened it all up, so that's much better now. So that is it, we're all done. The charger is working. I'm charging my Tesla up with it now while I've been having a bite to eat, and I must say it's been a pleasure to work out the back of this today. I did feel a little bit lost without the van because there's always a few little bits and pieces in the van that you might not remember to bring with you when you're using a vehicle like this, but in general I've managed to get the job done with everything that I need, and a good result really. So the charger is all up and running, earth rod's done, everything's tested and all works out fine, so I'm a happy chappy. And now I'm going to hit the road again Back another 88 miles back to home. I have managed to gain about 30 miles of range just being plugged in while I have my lunch anyway, so I've got 194 miles of range now on the vehicle, so I didn't need to worry about supercharging at all. I'll be home and I'll probably still have at least 100 miles of range left, so all good. But it's been a fun one today, I've enjoyed it. So, home sweet home. That brings this epic road trip to an end, and I didn't need to worry about battery life at all. I've got 92 miles of range still left on the clock. So with the little top up that I had of about 25 miles at the house where I was working, I would have been down to about 65, maybe 70 miles of range still if I hadn't have had that, so I would have been fine anyway. So it just goes to show the range on these is amazing really, 305 miles, you don't need to worry about range anxiety. But it's been a good little job today. I've really enjoyed working out of the back of my Tesla, my van for the day. Take your Tesla to work day was a success, and I hope to do it again sometime. If I've got jobs that don't involve too many materials and tools, then I can certainly try to do that, because it's definitely greener than driving my diesel van all around the country. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it entertaining. If you have, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And thanks for watching. Have a great day. Oh, and if you're in the market for a Tesla, don't forget to use my referral code in the description and you can get 1,000 free supercharging miles.